Alright, once bring a quick intro to the video. I didn't really do an intro for this. Basically, both of my rear knuckles on my Tesla Model 3 Performance went out at 30,000 miles. The two videos you just saw at the start of this video where they're wobbling back and forth, or the one is clicking. If you have any of those signs when your car is jacked up on the Tesla Model 3s, it doesn't matter if it's a rear-wheel drive, long-range, or performance, all the knuckles are the same. But if you have that slack in that wheel, that's an indicator that the stock bearing has gone bad on the hub, or the, not the hub, the knuckle. And if that goes bad, the only way to fix that is to change the entire knuckle. Some aftermarket companies do make press-in inserts for the knuckle that you could technically press out while it's on the car and then repress it in. But I and Mountain Pass Performance and other companies don't really recommend that. It's best just to take the entire knuckle assembly off and replace it as a unit. I was informed by Mountain Pass Performance that those aftermarket bearings they make for the knuckles do not work. So I would recommend not buying them, because if they're telling me they don't work, like you guys know, I've been working with Mountain Pass Performance for a while now. They know what they're talking about, so I wouldn't recommend buying them. I would just say find a stock knuckle. I'll link some stock knuckles in the description where you can get them from a company called Tesloid. It's based in Canada. These are OEM knuckles. They're not like an aftermarket replica. They're OEM. So a picture of what the knuckles look like, I'll put it up on the screen, and again, they'll be linked in the description below. This is what they look like. These things that are highlighted on the images are the bearings that go bad. And again, mine went out at 30,000 miles. Like, it's really soon for them to go out. Usually they, last 50, 60, maybe even up to 100,000 miles. So it could be contributed to the lift kit I have on the car. Maybe the extra stress on those stock bearings made them go out sooner. It could be me just being aggressive with the car because it's a performance model. But like James said, James is a mechanic I work with, he said, like, he thinks that's bullshit that they would go out at 30,000 miles just for being aggressive on a performance car, because it's a performance car. So it's meant to do that. Don't make a Model 3 Performance if you can't drive it like a performance car. And I 1000% agree with him. They should have thought about that bearing design before they made it. But nonetheless, I went to Tesla service to have this fixed. They would not warranty it at all. So I'll put up a picture on the screen of what they wanted to do the job. It's $1,000 in parts and $800 in labor. That was the total they put. And then I'll put an image of the breakdown of the parts and the labor now, and then right after that image I'm going to put another image of the other parts and labor breakdown, so you guys can see everything they quoted me that they would not warranty because of my Mountain Pass Performance lift kit and all the aftermarket suspension arms I have. I did while I was there. I didn't need to do this, but I did it because I didn't want to risk the hubs also having slack in them. So I just replaced both of my rear hubs with a company called FAG. Fisher something. It's a German company. They make really high quality bearings. I got them on Summit for like 184 bucks. I'll put an image up on the screen and link them in the description below of the bearings and how much they are a piece. So you could say 200 about for the hub bearings. So that's about 400 bucks on hubs. And then both the knuckles were like, I think $440 for both. So you're looking at what, $640 that I paid in parts. And then I did need a few tools to do this job. The biggest things are you will need a 21mm wrench, and you will need a 18mm wrench, as well as 21mm sockets and 18mm sockets, and you're going to need e-Torx sockets. I recommend you have one of those in E18 as well, and that's for the brake calipers if you have a performance model. I don't know what size that bolt is on the non-performance, the non-Brembo Teslas. But on the performance Model 3s, 2023 and older, it's I think it's an E18 e-Torx, external Torx. So I would recommend buying a socket kit to have on hand for the car, just in general. The rotor, there's like, I'm just kind of running down through everything. There's like a little screw that attaches the rotor to the hub. And it just holds the rotor in place when it's on the assembly line, but it's recommended you leave the screw in, because when you take the tire off and the lugs aren't holding the tire against the rotor on the hub, the rotor gets kind of wobbly, so that's why that screw is there, is just to hold it from not wobbling around. I stripped one out, so I'll put an image of that on the screen now. So don't torque these down too tight because they will strip out. Thankfully, I had a screw that I was able to paint the head of. I don't know if it was stainless, I just painted it to be safe, and that screw actually fit in the hole of the hub, just to act as something to hold it. Again, guys, the screw doesn't do anything other than hold the hub. It's not really that important, but I just wanted to replace it with something so my rotor wasn't wobbling around. So y'all saw the image of that. And you'll see in this video the after clip of after the knuckle's fixed. You'll see me pulling the tire again, and that is a clip of what it looks like when it's fixed, how it should look like with no wobble. Enjoy the rest of these clips, but after this video there will be a video talking about the struggles I had with the alignment, and that video is going to come out either the same time today or a few days after this one, talking about the Tesla alignment after doing the knuckle job. Because guys, if you do this job, you are going to need an alignment. The bolts that bolt this knuckle down, this is very important, they're tapered bolts, so when you turn them, it adjusts the alignment one way or the other. You can try and mark them, but when you go to torque them down, they're going to move even if you mark them. It'd be very hard to get that bolt in the same spot, even when you're torquing the nut and the bolt, because it's going to move as you torque it. So I just recommend torque them down. Tesla says to put the car at ride height. I did the whole job without putting the car at ride height, and by that they mean jack up on the bottom of the spring, and then jack up on the end of the hub with like a hub adapter. And you guys can look up all these parts in the service menu, but they recommend jacking the whole car up like that so it's at ride height. And that's just so when you torque everything down and then put the tire back on and drop the car, nothing moves. Again, guys, I didn't do that. I just like dropped everything down. You can take that bottom of the knuckle, the big bolt at the bottom of the knuckle, you can take that out. The spring's not going to pop down, it holds there just fine, and you'll see that in the clips in this video. But you can do the whole job, like I said, without going to ride height. Do it however is comfortable for you, however you can get to it. Torque everything down best you can, and then just go get an alignment after. That's the best thing I would recommend doing. And do watch my alignment video after this one, because there's some very important information in there that you need to know before you go and get an alignment on the Tesla, because there's some, like a crooked wheel on a Tesla is something that is easy to happen, and I fought with it. And if you watch that video, you'll see what I'm talking about. So yeah, enjoy. What's up, YouTube? Wanted to give some video on my progression with the car, working on these rear knuckles. This is a axle puller, a universal one, and got my monster here trying to stay awake. It's like midnight right now, or getting close to midnight. But here's the work on the car. I'm sorry about that. It's dark outside. Let me turn the light on so you guys can see. Whoa, there we go. All right, so this is what's happening. I have everything disassembled. I have the brake caliper positioned under here, and it's able to sit nicely on the shelf. You just take these three pop clips out, and you can sit it there instead of trying to hang it by the spring. You could also hang it with some wire by the spring, but that's just easier for me just to pop it in there. I've got a light like zip tied up there, and it's like right down where I have to work. Surprisingly, this light's not in the way of anything. But yeah, as you guys can see, I have all of my Mountain Pass Performance arms disconnected. I did pull and tug on all these. This bolt obviously has a little bit of wiggle in it, but once it's torqued, that won't be moving. But the arm itself has no play. This arm has no play. It does not click at all, no movement. This arm, pulling in and out, has no play in it. This bottom arm obviously has no play. That motherfucker is in there tight. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And then of course you have your sway bar. Everything's just sitting here loose right now. I did mark all the bolts. This was what was recommended by Mountain Pass Performance, was to mark the bolts with a circle and a mark, and they said especially for this bottom one. So I don't know if y'all can see that, but there's a Sharpie mark there, a circle where the bolt was. So when I put it back together, I'm just gonna make sure I tighten it back around in that same spot so the alignment's there. But it won't matter. I'm going tomorrow, or Thursday I mean, to get an alignment. So if it is off a little bit, James will adjust this when he does the alignment, so it's not a big deal if it's a little bit off. The biggest thing is just getting it back together correctly, making sure everything's torqued down tight, like every single one of these bolts is torqued down tight how it needs to go. I want to probably put a little paint on the end of this axle just to stop some of that rust, so I'll probably do that. Really just a bunch of little stuff. And of course I'm gonna cover the splines and all when I paint that. I just want to hit the rusty part. And Tesla recommends propping this up to ride height, but I don't see where that's necessary because none of these bolts move. They just tighten down. The only one that really moves is this bottom one that I can tell. And even if these do, like I said, I marked all of these with Sharpie just in case when I go to put it back together they move or something, and I need to put the alignment back where it was. They're all marked. Honestly, guys, the hardest part so far with this job was not getting the knuckle out. It was getting the splines out of the hub. This motherfucker here would not come out. I mean, I was wailing on it with this freaking rubber mallet. I covered the metal hammer with some cloth, and I tried that to make sure I wasn't hitting metal on metal on this. I ended up having to use that axle puller, and you could see it kind of dented this in a little bit. No serious damage, and the threads are fine, and my bolt here is fine, and it threads back on perfectly smoothly. So I didn't do any damage or anything, but it's like, man, like, oh gosh, I got I got axle lube all over my hands. That's that silver stuff too. That's that strong stuff. Anyway, I want to take you guys a walk here in the back. I've got the tires off. I'm gonna be cleaning those before I put them back on. These are new tires, Continentals. But this is what I'm doing with this. It's a bit spotty right now. I'm gonna come back and re-hit it. But well, actually, no, it's not. I'm painting the brake shield cover a nice, beautiful silver, just to make it look a lot more clean. And that's just one coat, but you can see what this stuff does, this Krylon high heat. The brakes stuff's amazing, evenly coats it, and it looks good. So got that in progress. What else is going on? Here's the old parts. Here's the old hub that I took off. This hub's not bad. I don't think there is a slight grinding in it. It's not bad. It's a very slight grinding. Nothing serious. This joint, I can't really show it on camera, but if you take your two fingers and push in and out, you can hear and feel a small click of this joint moving, this ball joint, in and out. And that's what's bad on this one. And also this one here has movement as well. So both of those have movement, and that's what was causing the play in my rear wheels, was this. And I just marked everything with old. But now the new stuff is in here. So we have the new knuckles. I need to figure out which one of these goes on that back side. Oh, Jesus. Before I do anything. These are the new hubs. You can get this on Amazon. It's called a magnetic field viewer. I recommend checking new hubs or anything with this. And what this is going to show is that the magnetic pattern inside of this bearing, as y'all can see, is perfectly normal and good. There's no weird squiggly lines in it. Checks out, and it's a good magnetic pattern, which tells us that this hub is good, which I already know it's good because it's from Fisher's or something like that. It's a German company. They apparently make like some of the best. It's called FAG, the name of the company. It's a short abbreviation name, but it's Fisher's something. And again, they apparently make some. It's a German company. They apparently make some of the best ball bearings on the planet or something like that. That's what they advertise. I don't know. They've been around like 100-something years, so I figure by now, if I'm going to put some hubs in my car, it's going to be from them because they probably know what they're doing. So that's the ones I bought. Got those on Summit. Got these knuckles on Tesloid.com. They sell Tesla OEM parts. These are OEM knuckles. They don't make aftermarket knuckles. If they did, like say Mountain Pass Performance made this knuckle in anodized aluminum and it was blue, I would 1000% buy it. But unfortunately, Mountain Pass Performance does not make this. I don't know how hard this would be to cast, but if they did make this and they put their own bearings in it, that would be sick. Again, sadly, they don't. Mountain Pass Performance, if you're watching, maybe consider making some knuckles. I might be your first customer. But anyway, so the car is at 30,000 miles, and both these knuckles went out, and that's what the play is from those two videos in the start of the video. That was from these, and I'm just doing the hub while I'm here because this is a lot to take apart. So I figure if I'm here, I'm just going to put brand new German hubs in the car with the knuckles. That way the whole rear end's done, and I don't have to mess with this again for a while. But again, 30,000 miles to have this ball bearing or this bearing go out. I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, come on, Tesla, do a better job. But yeah, so I need to get this back together because it's like, again, it's like 11 o'clock, and I need to get this back together because it's just getting later and later. And yeah, so I'm gonna work on that. I gotta get some O&R, get under here, wipe all this down, clean it all up, paint that, and then put it all back together, and then torque everything. Biggest thing is torquing everything. So yeah, and then I'll be off to the next side. All right, guys, I don't have nobody to record, so I'm just propping the phone up, but it's currently 4:30 in the morning. I got this fixed, so wheels back on, the new knuckles in, the new hubs in, the hub bolts torqued down, everything's torqued down. I double checked it. As you guys can see, pulling on it, only thing moving is the tire now, and if I pull on it the other way, only thing moving is the tire, and there's no clanking side to side like there was. It's a really solid rear end now, which is how it should have been. So when James does the alignment, I'll ask him just throw a wrench on the bolts, double, triple check, make sure everything's locked down. Because yeah, again, it's 4:30 in the morning. I'm a little tired, so I could have missed a bolt, but I doubt it. Yeah, guys, so this side's done. I'm gonna get some rest. Tomorrow when I wake up, I'm gonna do the other side and fix that knuckle and or hub. So yeah, and if you guys are wondering, this is how I have the car up. It's just a 3-ton jack stand and 3-ton jack stand. It's a little weird, but it you know, it holds it. So good enough anyway. Oh god, I have a lot to pick up. All right, guys, got the new hub on there on the new knuckle, and this is for the other side. It's daytime now, so just out here working on this. So here's the new knuckle with the new bearings. These are solid, and the 3 bolts just went into the hub to secure it. I'm gonna put some moly lube on that mating surface right there, not in the splines, guys, but on that surface where it mates. And I'll put a little bit of this orange thread locker on the hub bolts. That way it can be locked down. And all I need to do now is torque it. The torque on these is, I believe, 60 foot-pounds. So I'm gonna get that torqued and then go get this side on. Whew. All right, guys, let's bring a video. Almost done. The sun's starting to go down here, but so I have all the arms torqued down. This one, this one, this one, this one, and the big boy in the bottom. Total of 5. These 2 big ones are about 100 foot-pounds on torque. These smaller ones are 56 foot-pounds. So all these have been torqued down. I just set the torque wrench to about 45, and that's going to be for the stabilizer bar. So I'm going to torque this nut, and just to be safe, I didn't mess with this nut, but I'm just going to torque that one as well, just, you know, because why not. Then other than that, all I really got to do once all that's torqued is disconnect my lights and everything, and get the caliper reconnected and torqued down, the rotor on. I lost the rotor bolt, or I didn't lose it, but I stripped it out. I'll put a picture on the screen. I guess it must have been last time I did the brake job. I must have put the little bolt that goes in there in a little too tight. All it does is hold the rotor on. But yeah, so I found a little screw that'll work. I'm gonna put that in, put a little blue Loctite on that. I did put the orange Loctite on every bolt before I torqued it. So just added precaution. And then again, like, if anything's misaligned, James got me scheduled tomorrow at 9, so we're gonna go and he's gonna do an alignment. So he's got to move any of these, you know, anything to make sure it's aligned right, like by all means he could do that. And then if anything's off a little bit, it'll be fixed tomorrow. So yeah, guys, I gotta pick up. This has been a very big and challenging job. I could not get this one in, this guy here. Oh my God, I was jacking up like carefully on the bottom of this here, and also on the bottom of this one to try and get this knuckle up, and oh my God, it wouldn't go in. Oh,